We all know that collaboration is filled with challenges, such as competing needs, competing priorities, competing mission statements, and even competing people. Please tell us about your experience with effective collaboration across organizations, including growing pains, rewards, and the necessity of meaningful partnerships and how it's going.
I think as societies grow, it behaves in a manner that prevents collaboration. In Maine, if you look at the history of organizations, bureaucracy, and the worst barrier is bureaucracy that we have. And then, of course, egos. People with big egos have difficulty collaborating. So you have that. It's how do you overcome that? And eventually, I think we have done is do a lot of listening. We do more listening than speaking. Kind of make a commitment that you're going to collaborate. And you kind of, I mentioned earlier, almost a personal connection to break through barriers. And that's how you get the work done. The thing is that if we stay within our own institutions and never go out, then all we do is complain about how bad the state is and treating us. If you go out and collaborate, then you'll do less of that. For example, do any of you know Andre Coquette? Great. Okay. We got involved, as I mentioned earlier, in Brunswick with composite, and the state got a grant, and we participated in that. And the idea was that we would bring, the state of Maine will bring Andre Coquette up to Maine, very innovative individual, to develop the composite program and help industry move forward. And the one thing about Andre is he's not easy to work with. He's very creative and not easy to work with. We formed a partnership, and started to work, and it was constant fighting between the college and Andre, to the point that I had to go to, Andre and I had to go to the governor's office and to try to resolve that, and we told the representative from the governor that we would play nice. But that wasn't working either. And I was kind of, what is the problem here? And trying to figure it out. Essentially, on our side is that we were behaving the same way. We had a staff member who just wasn't treating Andre right. So when we're listening to each other, and it got to an ego of fighting on that. And finding out that the reason we were not moving on is that we had someone who was not collaborative. And my job then as president was to remove him on that. And once I did that, Andre and I connected and got a peace fight, and we went to lunch. And we essentially said, let's cut this out, let's work something out. And we shook hands. My problem then was to find someone who could work with Andre. Okay, knowing that Andre was not the easiest person to work with, but it was very honest, straightforward. He wanted to do his thing in a creative way. I looked around the organization. I found Madison, who are over here. And I told her that this is a challenge. Okay, you have to work with Andre if we're going to move forward. And go to it. And I must say that has worked very well. Now, in fact, I got together with Andre about a month ago, and we formed a new partnership. He is now part of the college to move forward and to keep our program at the high end. As we go from one end, the primary level of composite, to the fifth level, at which we will be able to educate people to work on planes that are mostly composite. got to work at it. You got to have disappointment. That's how you get work.
Let's go into the woodshed with the governor, probably help you with it too. That's valuable. And that's such a great illustration of how personalities can get in the way of true collaboration.
Yeah.
And those who are smiling just listening. Curt, the same question to you.
Collaboration. There's some interesting things about the concept of collaboration. In a way, you think of collaboration is a whole lot like baseball, apple pie, mother. Who can be against collaboration? It's got to be a good thing. And so, if you ever talk to anyone, they'll always be in favor of collaboration. But there are going to be some challenges. So the question now is not whether we should collaborate, it's how do we go with the challenge. And so I started thinking about that in two venues. One is just about this organizational structure sense of collaboration. And then in the economic sense of collaboration. We're talking to some of these business management folks at the University of Alaska. And they said, you know what drives collaboration? Competition. If two people are competing, very strongly competing, they're going to find that they can't win their competition unless they shed those things that give them a low return on investment, and they increase those things that give them a high return on investment. Okay, that's people talking now. These are not social scientists. And so they said, well, competition drives collaboration, so what you do is look for where there's competition and say, who are the competitors, and then draw the line around the people who are not directly competing with each other, but need to collaborate with people who will make them more successful when they do with people. So I thought, okay, that's kind of interesting. So then I thought about the community college there in Fairbanks, and they have a fire science program. And the students in the fire science program in the community college get their fire science and their practical knowledge and everything. And then they can go get a job in a fire station. But if they want to be a fire chief, they're going to need some management. And so we figured out a way that we could get our articulation between the community college and the university so that they would be able to do their upper level business courses in HR and management and budgeting and stuff like that at the university. And it was a natural, smooth pipeline between the fire science people in the community college and the university school of executive management. And you really wouldn't expect those to be collaborating, but they did. Oh, well, you know what? This could happen through alliances. And so now this barrier between community colleges and universities started to break down and allow them to collaborate. So then said, okay, how does this work in organizational structure? So that's the other piece of thinking about collaboration. Is that if you want to collaborate, but you set the bar so high, there's many ways you fail at collaborating. Maybe there are different kinds of collaboration. So he said, okay, let's take three. That's a good number. There's three kinds of collaboration. One, where people coordinate what they're doing with each other. In other words, they stay out of each other's way. And that's a way of collaboration. Second is if they cooperate in the sense that they gain something, someone else gains something, and by operating in the same space, they advance each other's agenda. Separate goals, but they advance towards those goals because they're kind of helping each other out. And then the third way is concerted action where you have a single goal, and everybody's working towards a single goal. Well, if you only imagine collaboration as the concerted action, you're leaving out these other opportunities to collaborate, which have lower barriers to participation. It's easier to get into those fields. And maybe they might step up to the concerted action. Maybe they won't. Maybe you'll have partnerships with people that allow you to advance because of the partnership, but don't necessarily require you to have the goal. And I think that we're looking at that now, how in University College we can collaborate with community partners, with community colleges, co-located with a lot of community colleges, and that's fantastic. That is a very important, that's probably the most important partnership. And then with the other campuses, with programs that are going on. So these collaborations will be set up, but they'll be set up with different kinds of gold texture.